He's got less than a minute, and I'm rolling, so I don't usually trim it off. Just try to keep it natural, but yeah, I've had a couple of times where I've had to cut a little bit just because somebody slipped and said a curse word, but yeah. It's always fun following his facial expressions. We do a lot of outdoor stuff. Like if we're not always in the studio every week, sometimes we go out and like go to a protest, and he'll interview the people protesting. Yeah, and he goes over like what their sign says, what it means to them, that kind of stuff. Slaughterhouse protest was the last one we did. Hello. Hi. We've tried having a dog on the air. Once, she didn't make a sound, and then another one wouldn't stop barking. He had the animal communicator on the phone. That was interesting. Can you hear it? Let me know when you hear your song. He's playing one of the songs by Maxim that did the movie.
It's pretty fun. No. As long as you don't charge.
Name of the song.
Okay.
Do you remember?
Oh, fun.
He picked it, so.
Okay.
He did the show one time from the side of the highway because I got a flat tire on the way. And so while somebody was changing the tire, I'm trying to record him, and I couldn't stand there because we were like in the road.
You didn't even attempt to record me.
I did.
I didn't.
Well, the worst part was I tried using the app to listen to the show, and there's a delay. And I'm over here with the tire changing situation, and he's sitting in the tire changer's car, and I was getting so aggravated because I'm hearing stuff on the air with a delay and running back to him and trying to talk about it. He's already changed subject. It's terrible.
Oh my gosh.
I know, I was going nuts.
So it was the only time that we ever had a non-vegan guest.
Yeah, but it worked. I don't even think I ended up making a video for it. It wasn't, we just didn't put that out.
What's the name of your show?
The Kevin Storm
Yeah,
Show.
228.
That's incredible.
I left the cards. We don't know how many cards. We printed some stuff out in the FedEx thing last night with just his logo, and it's actually a picture of his bumper sticker. He's got bumper stickers.
That's so cool.
I feel bad. I'll never leave the house without cards again. We flew, we traveled light, you know, it's like a couple changes of clothes and just run. The studio's nice. I mean, you know, it's in a good spot. It's 55 miles from the house, but it's still a nice location. It's in Sewell, New Jersey.
Okay.
It's right across the bridge from across Walt Whitman from Philly, and it broadcasts out of Philly. It's got about a 30-mile radius. It's a small station, but it's been around for a while.
Oh, we did?
What?
We got another package.
Oh, good.
Cool.
People send stuff. It's nice, you know. Donate money and send shirts.
He's 80% sure it's ours.
How's that? How are you 80% sure that it's ours?
Mom's confused on how you're only 80% sure.
Who else gets packages at the station?
He'll text you why.
I want to see a picture of it. Yeah, he gets
Her words
postcards
were,
and
who
letters.
else at the station gets mail?
Yeah. Who's got, like, more than 100 fans at the
Oh,
station?
a lot of people, apparently.
The last time we checked, he's got 1,388 fans on his Facebook page. That's awesome. Just for the show. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm going to check it now. Is it time?
Yeah, sure.
It's 4 minutes after.
Okay.
Loud.
Well,
Please.
hello everybody, and welcome to the Kevin Storm Show. We are broadcasting live from the Westin Hotel in Los Angeles, California, and we've been at the National Animal Rights Conference 2014, and we've been here since Friday. Well, we've been in California since Thursday night, but we only got to the conference Friday. And we're staying at the hotel across the street from here, the La Quinta. It's a pretty nice hotel. And throughout the 3 days of conference that we did get to see, we met a couple of cool people. We met Shirley Petlansky-Watkins. We met Carl Rea, Chris DeRose, who's the founder of Last Chance for Animals, and our Maddie May, an AR veterinarian. We saw Brian Minnell, Andy Mars, who's the director of Kids Make a Difference Foundation, and former guests Mark DeVry, who's a producer and director of Speciesism the movie, and Seba Johnson, who's an Olympic skier and an animal activist. We got to try our fair share of gelatin-free gel snacks called Cool Cups, and for some of the food there was this little stand out in like a patio area called Southern Fried Vegan, and then there was another one called Isan Falafel. There's the Ringling Brothers protest from July 9th to the 15th, and we're going to try and still make it to one. There's also a protest at the UCLA in the hotel lobby at 9:45 tomorrow, and then there's another protest at the Delta Airlines tomorrow. Congratulations to Andrew Pusetti for
Young actors.
Oh, yeah, for the Young Activist of the Year award for founding Live Life Humane organization. And we also sat through campaign reports in a group called Lessons from Vivisection Campaigns, what activists have learned combating animal use in laboratories and schools, with Michael Budke, Shirley McGill, and Anthony Bellotti. We were supposed to have Maxim Gonolin, I think that's how you say his last name, and Tod Emko from Sea Shepherd.
But
That's,
we have a
yeah,
replacement
Maxim
guest.
Gonolin. He's French, so I don't know if I'm saying it right. But we have a surprise guest, and we're gonna
Hardy Brown.
have him introduce himself.
Read his
So,
tag.
hi.
Hi, Kevin. It's nice to meet you. My name's Hardy Brown. I'm with the International Primate Protection League in Somerville, South Carolina. I've been working with that group for about 14 years now. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So how long have you been vegan?
You know what? Just recently, my wife and I started a vegetarian diet about 2 years ago, and I have to say I've been vegan now for about 36 hours, because coming to this conference has really opened my eyes and frankly changed my life and inspired me to change how I think about things and how I do things. I've always, all my life, been an advocate for animal rights and animal welfare. I volunteered at shelters. I stop and pick up turtles on the side of the road and get veterinary help for them, things like that. But to see the bigger picture is an effort, frankly, as you know, I'm sure, because our culture is the way it is, that, you know, that we grow up eating meat, we grow up doing the things we do. I grew up on a farm, you know, where we raised our own food, we raised our own animals to eat, but then we also had animals as pets, so there's that difference there, you know, that seemed normal and natural. So once you become a little more aware of the bigger picture, and especially and what I've learned here at this conference especially, is the graphic displays of cruelty and abuse that goes on in production farming and factory farming. That is such an eye-opener. So yeah, so short answer to your question is just a short time vegan, but long time vegetarian, and yeah, that's it.
That's really cool. Glad the conference helped you make the switch.
I found him at this table
well,
over here talking
Yeah,
to the lady.
can you tell us about the table that my mom found you at?
Yeah, we have a booth. It's the International Primate Protection League. It was started by my boss, Dr. Shirley McGreal, 40 years ago when she was living in Thailand. And she raises money and works to promote welfare and activism for primates all over the world. In Somerville, South Carolina, we have a gibbon sanctuary. Gibbons are small apes. They come from Southeast Asia. And we have 37 gibbons along with 6 Asian otters, short-clawed otters. But it's the headquarters for a worldwide organization, and my boss works hard and tirelessly to help primates all over the world. She raises money for primate sanctuaries all over the world. She puts animal smugglers in prison. She is one of the most tenacious people I have ever met.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So.
What about the plenary? Were you able to make some of the
Yeah.
meetings?
Did you make some of the seminars and all that?
I was. I'm kind of stuck at the table, maintaining that, but I was able to slip away and get a couple of the meetings and talks and whatnot. One of them yesterday was actually in regard to your last question about veganism, the steps of becoming a vegan or even a vegetarian, and all the processes, and the 12-step program basically that goes along with that, and one of which is guilt. Like, oh my gosh, now that I'm more aware of the issues, a year ago I ate that steak, and how could I have done that? Or even my friends who still, order a steak or say it's okay to hunt, dealing with that mentality and not being too judgmental, and just understanding that that's their reality. I have my reality, and you just compassionately have to explain your reality to them and not judge them for who they are or what they're doing, right? But just try to get them to understand that there is a different way of looking at things.
Cool.
I did the same thing. I mean, I went through the same kind of process. I hunted and fished and everything, and did all kinds of awful stuff. So yeah, it's a lot to change. As far as the food, there's a lot of different foods downstairs. So is there anything in particular that you really liked?
I haven't actually had a chance to eat much of the food,
okay.
but last night at the banquet I was finally able to sit down and really enjoy a vegan meal, which I have to say was delicious. Everything. I've always been a big vegetable eater anyway, so the food last night was delicious.
Yeah.
And chocolate cake. It tasted like chocolate cake.
Yeah, right.
I'm not a fan of mushrooms, so when I started eating whatever the little cheese roll thing was, when I got to the last 2 bites of the first one and I saw a little piece of mushroom, I had to think, am I gonna just stop eating it because there's mushrooms? Am I gonna open it and take each one out, or am I just gonna say, oh well, I got this far into it, why don't I just finish the meal and just tough it out? So I ended up eating the rest of it, but I really don't like mushrooms. But somebody we were sitting with yesterday that we met yesterday, said something about your taste buds change every 7 years, so maybe when I'm 14 I'll like mushrooms again. So I liked them when I was little, apparently.
We had a lot of treats downstairs. We've got a lot of favorites as far as the types of, I don't like the camera on me, don't do that. For different types of desserts, the ice creams. Oh, you should talk about the donuts. They've been a constant supply of coffee, and I'm not taking that. Stop it. See, I don't like the camera on me. Take the
No,
phone.
you get to have the
No,
camera
no,
on you. No, it's your turn.
What do you want me to say?
Your turn. I don't know. Take the phone. Your turn to talk.
Take the phone. I don't like the
You
phone.
talk about the donuts.
I don't want to talk about the donuts. I ate one. I feel bad.
You ate half of one.
But it was vegan, so it's okay.
Where's the rest of that cinnamon bun?
I have no idea
Dibs.
where the rest of the cinnamon bun is.
Dibs. It's
But
mine.
no, there's a lot of foods available everywhere. Grocery stores, restaurants now, and it's not just in cities like LA and New York and Philly, but where we live, we can drive 20 minutes east, and there's a pizza place that's doing day of cheese on pies, and they have gluten-free menu, and they make any pasta dish, and anything that you would find in a normal pizzeria or Italian restaurant, they have a vegan version of it. It really is, and the price might be slightly higher because day of cheese is expensive, but it's really good. So if you're gonna do the right thing, you gotta figure, you get what you pay for, and if you're gonna get cheap food, you're getting cheap food.
Right.
And it's not good for you, and it's certainly not good for the planet. So you pay a little more, you get something that you don't have to feel guilty about, and it's healthier. Who's behind me? Look who's behind me.
Hey,
It's your
Todd.
turn. Give me
Hey.
this.
Fun again.
Todd
Hey.
Emko, if you want to switch? Well, anyway, thank
Well,
Hardy
thank
Brown.
you for doing the show, Hardy, and we really appreciate you like saving the first 15 minutes of the show. So yeah, now next guest is
And we'll check out
Tod
your website.
Emko.
All right, thank you.
What?
Our website is ippl.org. Go there. There's plenty of links to look around, and also check out the link to view our sanctuary, where you can check out all 37 gibbons that we have, and also the otters and the dogs. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh, Todd.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi, Todd. Let's see. Today's next guest is Tod Emko. We know he's from Sea Shepherd, and he's here for Darwin Animal Doctors. And I have his T-shirt on, which is the design logo for their comic book.
A piggy's tail.
Yeah, a piggy's tail. It's like a story about a three-legged puppy.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I had
So
one
I'm wearing
with
that
you.
shirt on
We meant
today.
to bring the comic books
Um,
to Darwin's.
So, hi, Todd.
Hi, Kevin. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We were a little nervous because we couldn't find you today. So
It happens.
yeah, it happens. But
And we haven't
Yeah.
seen Maxim either.
yeah,
went
we
to his
can't find
Romans
Maxim, and he was supposed to do a little 5-minute announcement for his
film.
film at the end of the show.
We can
So
give the
maybe-
website.
Maybe he'll just pop up out of nowhere.
What's the website?
I don't know the website.
Jack.
Get the thing. Get the thingy.
Jack.
It's
Yes.
go check out
Turn around.
magicjackofficial.com.
Magic Jack.
That's his website.
Okay.
Okay. So, anyway, more about you, Todd. Can you tell us about the three-legged puppy stories?
All right. So, hey, good morning. So, so I am here as one of the founders of Darwin Animal Doctors, and so we're the only animal hospital in the entire Galapagos Islands. And the little pup that inspired this whole project to come into being is a three-legged dog named Piggy, who's a real-life dog. And the story is that when my co-founder and I, Andrea Gordon, she's also from Sea Shepherd, we both originally went to Galapagos for Sea Shepherd. When we went down on a temporary veterinary campaign, on a 2-week campaign to the as volunteers to the Dominican Republic, we were there on a high-volume spay-neuter campaign. And while we were there, one of the worst cases that we came across was a little puppy that was brought to our clinic. He was hit by a bus a month before we found him, and we were astounded at how bad a shape he was in. He had no veterinary care for the entire month until our veterinary team got there, and he was almost dead. He was skin over a skeleton because he couldn't feed himself. He still had his hurt leg, but there was almost nothing left of it. He was covered in maggots, and we had to do emergency surgery right on the spot to remove the hurt leg. And then my co-founder, Andrea Gordon, she spent up the first night with him removing 40-something parasites from inside of each of his ears. That was causing an untold amount of anguish while they were biting him inside there. But the next morning, he was this like happy, hoppy little skeleton, like hopping around, so happy to be free of all that pain, like hopping around looking for trash to eat, because that's all he knew. And this little, maybe 5-month-old puppy, you know, we said to ourselves, we can't leave this guy behind. So we took him back with us to the U.S., and he became this amazing dog. He's this inspiring dog who actually developed this superpower. Like, he actually has a superpower where he never forgot what it was like to suffer as a puppy. So he can now detect that suffering in other people. So we'll often be walking him in Central Park, or his dog walkers will be walking him, and suddenly he'll veer off the trail. And out of all the people in Central Park, he'll single out one person and go straight towards them. And they'll crawl up to them and like look up at them with sympathetic eyes. And then they'll all do the same thing. They'll all cry and pet him and say, "How did you know I needed that?" And we'll ask them what happened, and they'll all say something like, "Oh, I just lost my dog this morning," or something. And he could tell that suffering because he like recognized it so much. And so we decided that well, on top of that being amazing, he became a constant reminder that there are amazing, wonderful, beautiful animals all over the world who deserve a chance, and they're not going to get a chance unless people like us who care can actually be there for them. and actually give them a chance. And so he inspired us to create a permanent veterinary project that's not just temporary, but would be there all year round. And since Andre and I both served in the Galapagos Islands with Sea Shepherd before, patrolling Marine Reserve, we realized that that was probably the most important place on Earth to start such a project. Because it's critically important for not just for that unique ecosystem that has such unique wildlife and is Charles Darwin's playground where he discovered the theory of evolution, etc. But it's also review after review or paper after paper is coming out from the Charles Darwin Foundation about just how important these islands are. Shark species and other marine species that are extinct the rest of the world are now basically their last vestiges in marine reserves like the Galapagos Islands. And if we don't protect them there, then there's no hope for them. So it was really important to protect the animals of this place. And so we decided to create Darwin Animal Doctors, which is the first and only full-time, year-round, a fully surgical veterinary staffed animal hospital that spays and neuters animals year-round for free, deparasites them for free, and provides a quality veterinary service to the community of Galapagos that lives there year-round as well.
Wow.
So he inspired that project, and we actually do a year-round humane education project in the Galapagos. So we put out PSAs on TV teaching people, like, put your dogs on leashes so they don't get hit by cars or don't compete with sea lions for territory. Spay or neuter your pets so they don't breed all over the place and unwanted litters get run over by cars, etc. Feed your dog and cats properly or else they're going to eat the native wildlife. Things like that. Things that are basic and that they're totally open to learning. It's just that no one was teaching them this stuff. And if all we did was the veterinary side, we could do that until doomsday, and we wouldn't actually make the situation there any better. We would just be a band-aid. And so Piggy actually became the logo for all of our humane education materials. So on all the education packets that we hand out to all the owners for continuing care for their animals, we have a cartoon Piggy flying as our superhero, and the shirt that Kevin's wearing here. That's the shirt that when kids graduate from our humane education program, they get those Piggy shirts as their graduation gifts. Cool. Along with products from Lush Cosmetics, because Lush Cosmetics actually generously funded the education program to be developed actually. It was actually written by HEART, the New York Humane Education Group, that does a lot of great work in New York. But when we got a grant from Lush, they jumped at the chance to work with us to develop a really comprehensive professional curriculum for the Galapagos Islands. And so that's the origin of the DAD, that's the origin of Piggy on our merchandise, and that's also the origin of Piggy's comic book. Because part of the outreach we're doing, both here and abroad, we started to put Piggy's amazing superhero story into a comic book form, so that everyone can be inspired and everyone can learn about how amazing animals can be. And also, we made it in a comic book so that other populations that normally wouldn't get an AR message, like comic book crowds and stuff, would be able to get this type of humane message. So we actually gotten amazing feedback and amazing reviews. Mainstream comic book magazines like Bleeding Cool magazine, Comics Beat, all the top indie comics magazines and mainstream comics magazines have given us top reviews as one of the top new all-ages comics of 2014. But also, we've been covered in Eco-Razzie, we've been covered in National Geographic, and the feedback is great. We've been approached by people from the United Federation of Teachers that wants to see if we can incorporate this into a curriculum. We've been approached by people from the ACLU who want to turn it into a program about handicapped education. Houghton Mifflin, the publishing company, they're going to use part of it in a textbook for 6th graders who are learning English. And so it's a whole bunch of different populations now that are discovering this message and are being able to integrate it into their worlds, which is great because that's our goal. And the most inspiring part is when we get fan letters from little children. So we get letters from this past week. We got an amazing fan letter from an 11-year-old girl named Mia who said that she had a stroke in utero and she'd been dealing with that her whole life, and she felt so inspired that there was an animal out there who had to overcome, his own handicap that she could relate to, and that she was going to stay vegan for the rest of her life. And it's things like that that they're probably the most meaningful reviews that we can ever hope for.
I did watch a documentary about the Galapagos. I don't remember. It was probably just called the Galapagos. But it was like an hour and a half, and it said somewhere in there that something like 100 plus species are only native to the Galapagos Islands, and they're like nowhere else on the entire planet. There's like birds and all that, and lizards, and tons of like weird kinds of turtles and stuff like that all over the islands that are nowhere else in the world. But since you founded this new group, are you still going to be with Sea Shepherd?
Oh yeah, actually, we all of us. It's funny. All of us who founded and are administrators of DAD, we actually are all crew members of Sea Shepherd. Actually, we all started this project because we originally went to the Galapagos serving with Sea Shepherd, patrolling in the marine reserve with the Ecuadorian Rangers through Sea Shepherd. But we all saw that there was this enormous problem that was happening on land, where there was cats and dogs everywhere. There were invasive parasites and diseases. There was a lot of pressure from development being put on the native animals, etc., that we needed to counteract with bringing veterinary care there. But making an animal hospital is out of scope of Sea Shepherd's marine conservation mission, so we couldn't do something through Sea Shepherd for it. So we had to create our own group in order to do that. But we've been blessed by having a lot of support from Sea Shepherd, actually. So we work with Sea Shepherd as often as we can, and in fact, one of our projects in the Galapagos is that we provide veterinary care to the police dogs, these Sea Shepherd police dogs that Sea Shepherd brought to the Galapagos in cooperation with the Galapagos, or the Ecuadorian National Police. So what that project is that rescue dogs from Colombia were brought to a private training facility, police training facility in mainland Ecuador, where they were trained to be the only canine unit in all of Latin America trained to stop the poaching and smuggling of exotic breeds. So they're the only canine unit in all of Latin America that does this. And Sea Shepherd, in partnership with the National Police, started this program to train those dogs and bring them to the Galapagos. And they became so effective at bringing so much of poaching and smuggling to a halt that the poaching mafia in South America actually put out a hit on these dogs. So there's actually contracts out on these dogs, and so it's really important for us to take really good care of these dogs, not just because they're doing such a valuable service for the Galapagos, but also because we're treating dogs that have had assassination attempts on them. So when we go down there, these are amazing dogs. Number one, they deserve all the love and care, and we are so pleased to see that their police handlers just fall in love with these dogs and would do anything for them. And we know that these handlers would take a bullet for these dogs.
There's really people that try to assassinate police dogs?
Yeah, people have tried to poison them. We've interviewed police who say that they literally can't look away from them for too long if they're in public, because people are the criminals and poachers are getting so frustrated that these police dogs are so effective that they will try to do something. The police dogs are kept in kennels that are in police compounds, where they have police guard 24 hours a day, which is great. And when we go down there to provide them with care, we're also bringing all sorts of things that we wouldn't normally have to bring to dog and cat campaigns. Things like, we bring activated charcoal in case people feed them poison, because people have tried to poison them in the past. We bring protective vests for them. We bring basket muzzles for them so they don't accidentally eat something off the ground, so that people might throw poison in front of them or something. It's a lot more intense than you would think most dog campaigns would be, but it's really important. But to answer your question, yes, we are still members of Sea Shepherd, and we are very happy that we're able to work with them as much as we do.
That's really cool.
Oh,
thank you so much for coming up and finding us. That was really awesome. You want to just do a promo for Magic Jack?
Yeah, we'll do a promo for... but thanks, Todd, for doing the show. We were we were running all over the hotel trying to find you, and I said, oh, I'll go check the Sea Shepherd table, but my mom was like, no, they're not open yet. And
Did you see the film by the French kid?
Oh no,
Magic Jack?
I missed it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, we promised him a promo, so we're gonna do
Okay.
that. But thank you.
All right, cool.
So
Thank
much.
you.
We'll
Oh,
see you
and if
again.
people are interested, they can go to darwinanimaldoctors.org and find all the information. There are links to our Facebook and Twitter there.
Great.
Thank you, guys.
That's so
Thank
cool.
you.
Thank you so
cool,
much.
thanks.
Talk about
so
that film.
Magic Jack did a film called The Revolution, something like that, and it was about
There was a lot of basic information.
it was a lot of basic information, but it was put together in a way where it was kind of like court, but it was switched, and the jury were animals, and the guy on trial was like, he was in the military at some point, and then he worked at factory farms and all that, and then they're like explaining to him how what he did was wrong, and he's trying to justify it and all that, and then saying that he liked his life, and that the other guy, and then the person that Magic Jack is, like, pulled out that he was taking Xanax, and that he was like, it's something with depression, and then they asked if he really enjoyed his life. It was really cool though, but it's like a half hour, and he said something about the American dubbed version will be out in 2 weeks, so we had to watch the French one with English subtitles. But what was cool about that was that we were the very first group of people in America to see this film.
Yep.
So like nobody else in America has, and I just realized that we're out of time. It's 9:30. Dean?
Okay, so go
Dean.
to magicjackofficial.com
Yeah.
and look for the logo.
Dean? Oh no.
Dean, where are you?
Hello, Dean.
You've got a delay, but I sent him the message to end with the same song. The song is from
Oh, you ran away? Okay, it's 9:30.
Maxim
So, well, 12:30 for you guys.
Ginelin. He's the movie director, movie composer, French guy. It was very nice meeting him. Is he gonna play the song? Okay, song's playing. That's where the song's from. We'll tag it to the end of the video. You're gone? Okay,
I guess I'm
nice
gone.
space. Okay, that was really cool. Thank you so
He
much.
has a really unique way of
Yeah.
saying goodbye. He's like, okay, bye, and then just hangs up.
All right, we might have to.
So this has been episode 71 of the Kevin Storm Show, but this time we're in LA, so.
Very cool. Good job.